Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Overwatch Weekly. I don't apologize. I am sick. It started happening a few days ago, and now it's just getting really bad. So, we'll try to get through this as best I can, but there may be some pauses or some cuts in there too, because I'm sick. But anyway, welcome back to another episode of Overwatch Weekly. Let's just jump into it, and let's start with the first story, which is that we now have a live server patch note, the 1.44.0 patch notes. And there's some interesting stuff in here, so we're going to talk about them. First thing, of course, is that the Lunar New Year 2020 is here. So this year we're celebrating Lunar New Year with new seasonal items, including legendary skins like Face Changer Sombra, Mask Dancer Moira, Samuel Nori Lucio, and Opera Brigitte. Experience the third competitive season of our Capture the Flag mode, in addition to a brand new game mode called Blitz Capture the Flag. And there's some more information on Blitz Capture the Flag, which is basically just a short, quick version of it. It's first to 6, but not only is it first to 6, it's also just super fast speed, and the flags are much closer. It's really fun. I actually really enjoyed it. If you want to see any of the updates or any of the unlockables for the event, I'll have a link in the description to my video where you saw them, where I showed them off, and I'll also link it in the cards if you want to see it there. Let's move on to the general and hero updates. They added Party Flex for role queue, which is basically that you can pick the flex role, and you can select multiple roles with what you're willing to play, and then you'll be put into one of the two based on what you picked, and it also made change based on where your rank is. So that is, for example, how it works, and it's just based on what other people play and what other people pick when you pick. They also added some custom game options and some spectate and replay updates, including the ability to toggle third-person camera side, which means you look over a different shoulder. But that's really all that one does. And there's some other stuff too that you can check out there. Let's move on to the big stuff, of course, the hero updates, which you talked about these, I think last week was when they went on the PTR, and they're already live, which is kind of crazy. Baptiste's immortality field maximum duration was reduced from 8 seconds to 5 seconds, and the cooldown was increased from 20 to 25 seconds. And the amplification matrix ultimate cost is increased by 20%. The dev comment on this one is that immortality field ended up being too powerful and placed in locations that were safe from enemy fire, such as around corners. Reducing its uptime will help address this case while remaining strong at saving teammates out in the open. Mei's endothermic blaster primary fire slowing effect now reduces enemy movement speed from 20% to 70%, down from 30% to 90%, and the slowing effect duration was reduced from 1.5 to 1 second. So the slowing effect of Mei's primary fire can sometimes feel too difficult to escape. Lowering the amount it slows by and the duration it lasts for will make it easier to react to. The time required to completely freeze a target remains the same. D.Va's booster's cooldown was decreased from 5 seconds to 3 seconds. The lower cooldown on her mobility will enable D.Va to more readily swap between playing offensively and defensively. Orisa's fortified damage reduction was reduced from 50% to 40%. They say about this one, Orisa has been a little too difficult to deal with while Fortify is active, so we're reducing the amount of damage reduction to give enemies more effective damage during this time. Hanzo's Stormbow maximum projectile speed was reduced from 125 to 110. The increased projectile speed Hanzo received in his rework ended up making his arrows too good at longer ranges. Decreasing the speed will reduce his sniping capability while still keeping him at strong mid-range. And finally, Doomfist's Rising Uppercut recovery time was increased from 0.2 to 0.35 seconds. Rising Uppercut, followed immediately by his primary fire, is a little too effective of a combo on its own, so we're increasing the time enemies have to react to it. Those are all your hero changes. I think most of them are fine. They're all heroes that I think needed some kind of change, especially Baptiste, Mei, and Orisa. Orisa's halt needs to be nerfed though. That's still the thing that is too strong. and it needs to be nerfed because it's way too powerful right now. Let's move on to the next story, which is a story coming from Twitter. Now, if you remember a little while ago, I didn't talk about this, I kind of forgot to talk about it, but there was a push for people to have a Junkrat or Roadhog skin that if you bought it, proceeds would go to helping the Australian brushfires. This is something that people have been talking about for a little while, and I remember seeing it like a week ago or something like that. It's been around for a little while, but the head coach for Atlanta Academy, Legit RC, had tweeted out, it would be cool if Overwatch implemented a Junkrat or Roadhog skin that if you purchase, proceeds would go to helping the Australian brushfires. And Kayla Glover, who works for Path to Pro, so doesn't work at making skins, but works at Path to Pro, replied to the tweet saying, it would be, but in-game skins aren't planned, designed, tested, and implemented that quickly in any quality dev cycle, though Blizzard did start matching all employee donations, retroactively too, to help, so that's something at least. So, basically, if you are an employee at Blizzard and you donate to help Australian wildfire, they're also going to match it. And even if you donated before they implemented that policy, they would still match it, which I think is really good. That's something that that's something that they achieved, and I think it's really good. And I think it's really cool that they're actively matching these people's donations, because that is a good way to get people to donate, and that's a lot. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of Blizzard employees who are donating, and if Blizzard is matching those donations, that's really good. And I think that everyone out there should donate, because Australia needs it, and it's important. So I'm just going to throw that out there. But anyway, let's move on to the next story, which is that the Overwatch League 2020 season will be starting out played on the 1.44 patch, the patch that I just talked about, the patch notes for. So that is something of note. I don't know how they're going to change patches throughout the season. I don't know if it's going to be something where it's just like, just happens, you know? They just decide, okay, new patch comes out, next week we're starting on the new patch. I don't really know how it's going to work. We'll figure it out, I'm sure, over time. My guess is it's just going to be something that just kind of, the next week they just implement the patch or whatever, but who knows? We will see. Continue on with the Overwatch League news. We have news about getting exclusive in-game team sprays. Attend Overwatch League matches and get exclusive in-game team sprays. So here they say, we're counting down the days of the 2020 Overwatch League's opening weekend on February 8th through 9th in New York and Dallas. Just in case you needed another reason to get tickets to see your favorite team in person, we're giving away exclusive Overwatch League team sprays when you attend a home match. Just come to any homestand weekend event, and you'll be able to collect a code and get access to these new team sprays in-game. Read on to see how it works. So, to celebrate each team's homestand weekend event, we have created 20 custom Overwatch League team sprays that you can use to show your team pride in-game. These newly designed sprays, like the two pictured above, which are ones that I'll share, but they are for the NYXL and for Dallas Fuel, draw inspiration from the team's colors, logos, and home city personalities. We will release these team sprays in 2 batches of 10 over the course of the season. So the batch 1 is NYXL, Dallas Fuel, Shanghai Dragons, Philadelphia Fusion, Guangzhou Charge, Washington Justice, Hangzhou Spark, Houston Outlaws, Seoul Dynasty, and Florida Mayhem. Batch 2, then, is the Atlanta Reign, the San Francisco Shock, the London Spitfire, the Paris Eternal, the Los Angeles Valiant, the Toronto Defiant, the Boston Uprising, the Vancouver Titans, the Los Angeles Gladiators, and the Chengdu Hunters. To get your exclusive team spray, you must attend a home match. Fans who come out to support their team at any of that team's homestand and weekend events will be able to redeem the spray. Home teams will provide additional details about how to claim sprays via codes at their venues. But it gets even better. When you attend a home match, not only will you receive the host team spray, but you will also receive the team sprays for the 9 other teams in that batch. So you get 10 team sprays total. For example, if you attend the Dragons home match in Shanghai during week 2 or week 24, not only would you get the Dragons team spray, but you would also get all 9 other sprays from batch 1. It's the same with batch 2. If you attend a Defiant home match in Toronto for week 11 or week 27, you would receive the Defiant Team Spray along with the 9 other sprays in Batch 2. And please note, simply buying a ticket will not get you access to team sprays. You must attend, they said you must attend, but you must attend the match in person to acquire a code to redeem the team sprays. The codes will be redeemable on Battle.net following an upcoming game patch. Stay tuned to Overwatch League and Overwatch channels for updates on the patch release. So that's really cool. I think this will be cool. I'm hoping to get to a match this year. I don't know when, but I'm hoping that I'll be able to get to one. Because I want to see NYXL in person, and I probably won't be able to get up to New York for one, so I'm hoping I'll be able to go to one somewhere. But that's that. Let's move on to the final story for this week, which comes from esports charts, and this is about the most popular leagues of the year. And to hear about what they talked about, right? Basically, they just tried to find out which league of esports was the most popular based on hours watched and airtime. So let's talk about what they mentioned here. The leagues are an important part of esports, and for some disciplines, the very competitive system is centered around them. Which of these earned popularity in 2019? Overwatch League, ESL Pro League, or maybe LEC? Who is at the top? Today, these questions will be answered. But first of all, we should define the type of event described by the league term. This is a long-term competition or a whole series split into multiple parts. Depending on type, this kind of competition may be divided into several regions. What kind of data was included in the ranking? Taking into account were the regular stages, final stages, and qualifiers. In addition, each league is represented not by a separate season or split, but rather by the total sum of all related events over the course of 2019. So, at the very bottom is the CSGO ESL Pro League, coming in at 40.1 million. I don't know if that's watch time or people who watched. Then it's the PUBG Mobile Club Open from spring and fall. Then it's the League of Legends Championship Series, spring and summer. Then you have the League of Legends European Championship, spring and summer. The League of Legends Champions Korea for spring and summer. And at number 1 is Overwatch League for 4 stages and a final. Now, the thing to note is, of course, that it's a little skewed because you have League, you have multiple different things for League, right? As a whole, League of Legends most definitely was more popular. But Overwatch League, of course, is the one Overwatch League that you have. So you're not splitting views over a bunch of different Overwatch competitions. You know, it's just Overwatch League. Obviously, yes, you have contenders or you have the World Cup, but those are different. You know, the World Cup didn't run when the Overwatch League was running. And contenders is tier 2, so it's not getting as popular as the Overwatch League. But when you have League Korea and League Europe and League NA and the Championship Series, you have all these different things, people aren't going to always watch the same stuff. So it's skewed for that reason. But League of Legends Champions Korea was 71.1 million and Overwatch League was 75.9 million. So this is a little skewed, but according to this, Overwatch League was the most popular esports league of 2019. But as I mentioned, there's a little bit of skewing there because League of Legends is split across so many different things. I mean, I mentioned 3 of them in there alone, so it's a little bit different in that way, but that's still pretty good for the Overwatch League. The fact that they're getting popular and they're still not they're not dying as a lot of people have been claiming they were, but we'll see what happens with 2020 as things change to the homestand model, because that is really where we're going to see if things change. That, though, is everything that I have for you today. So thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, consider liking and subscribing if you want more content like this in the future. That is the best way to know when it happens. Comment down below your thoughts on anything I talked about today. I'm going to get out of here. So thank you again for watching, and I hope to see you all next time. All right. Bye-bye.